Bite-sized bits are on the way. Today we have Devecchi Studios with us and are graced with director-producer Tim Cowles, David John-Bores, who plays Xavier, and Anna Fraser, who has murdered me twice with a knife in the last couple of days. So, guys, welcome to the show. Really excited to have you here, courtesy of Josh, by the way. So I guess to keep things kind of organized, Josh, I'm going to start with you because you kind of brought Devecchi to me as like a... why don't you go ahead and just tell the story first?
Sure. So I've been a fan of Devecchi for quite some time. I don't know if I played Dr. Decker originally, but I know I did play it when Shapeshifting Detective came out. And then I've been a fan ever since. We've talked about him in the past couple episodes leading up, but I just love the writing. I love the way that the stories play out. Just very unique experiences, and I've like I said, I've just been a huge fan. So I reached out for a review copy of Murderous Muses when it first came out, and I think it was Linda who responded and was like, "Is this actually you?" Because I think she looked at the YouTube channel and was like,
check.
Yeah. So, and I was like, yeah, I love your games. Oh, by the way, I have a podcast. Would you guys like to come on? And, very receptive, and here we are.
In order, I don't know if we saw it on the video part, but right here we've got David John-Bores. Above me here is Tim Cowles, and then I can't point over there, but that's Anna Fraser. So we're gonna start with Tim. Tell us a little bit about Devecchi. Is this? You own Devecchi, right? Like it's you and Linda.
That's right. Yeah, since the start, back in 2004, before the internet. No, there was internet then. Yeah, that's when we started going. We originally started making murder mystery games, box games that you'd play at home, and we put videos in them back in 2004. DVDs at the time. I don't want to say videos. It's not like you're fast forwarding and rewinding to each bit. So we did these interactive DVDs, and then it's been decades, obviously, since, and we've always loved video games, play video games, F&V games together, and that's why we've done these last kind of these four video games. But yeah, Linda and I co-create all of them essentially. She's a bit. So I say she's shyer than me, or she just wins the arm wrestle for who does the shows. I don't know to get her on, but she's half to blame for everything. No, she's half to thank for everything anyone who likes about them. Yeah, I mean, directing is I quite like directing, making films.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what my passion was back in 2004, and one day I'll make another one. I've only made one feature film so far. I need to improve on that. I need to double that. But yeah, so that's where we are, based in the UK. Okay. Been going for too long.
Well, thanks for the reminder that 2004 was 2 decades ago. That's pretty depressing.
It was a lovely time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In fact, our company incorporation date is the same day as our daughter's birthday. Oh. So there's a bit, she doesn't have a sibling, but she doesn't have a company to be jealous of. So it's,
Well, that's actually a good question, because I was going to ask you if you consider your games as your children. So is there,
Yeah, I mean, there is a bit there's a bit of that. So, when you make your indie video games, you put it out, it is like putting your baby out there and then watching people kick it when they give it negative reviews and stuff. So it's, but also people can really, when they really enjoy it and connect with it, it's really cool as well. But yeah, it's because it's like any art, I guess. You put yourself out there, and perhaps, it's probably the same with companies with hundreds of employees working on a video game. But I guess if there's just one or two of you, you can't say, well, if you didn't like it, they did that bit, or something. It wasn't me. So it's, it's probably a lot more personal.
You want to give us one fun fact about you, Tim? I know you posted a couple in the Discord, but...
Okay. Oh dear, it's a memory game. Terrible at those. That's why I put them in the video game. Let's say that I used to direct live TV chat shows for like a conspiracy theory channel, Channel 200 on Sky TV in the UK. So I spent kind of 3 months at a TV studio. I think David Icke was the biggest name we got on there. And we basically anything from crop circles to I think I mentioned it in chat, reserve fractional banking. Go and look that up afterwards. It's terrifying. I'm not essentially a conspiracy theorist or anything myself.
That was my question.
It's no, not really. I've seen a lot of back and forth, and also I see some of the names behind the scenes. We did some special interest videos while we were there, and a couple of the people who are in it are just kind of monetizing it, going around doing the university tour, sending their special interest videos. So I didn't see anything really to convince me either way, really. But it was fun. It was fun because it was it's obviously live TV directing's gives you buzz anyway. And the guy that brought me in to do it said it was the very first show, and he's like, "We're going to do this together. I don't feel like I can do it on my own, but I know that you've directed some other stuff. Let's do this together." It was 2 minutes before we went live, and he went, "I can't do this. Bye," and he just left. And everyone's looking at me. I was like, "Okay, in positions, everyone," and heading upstairs to the gallery, and just called it from there. So yeah, it was fun.
And it was a valiant success, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was like there was a load of students who were kind of manning the cameras and things.
Oh, sure.
And as the months went on, there was just like one student manning 3 cameras downstairs. So the calls were getting like, "Can you run left and just get a shot of that for me?" So it was. I'm not sure that they had other business things that they were running from there, which I probably shouldn't discuss on live TV. But they had this interest in this kind of like the I don't want to say conspiracy theories, but just like they like looking at all these things from different angles.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go to David.
Okay.
Too many questions.
Because otherwise we're gonna go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, and that can get out of hand get out of hand pretty quick. So, yeah, David, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm an actor as well as just an entertainer, a host, and just a nerd all around. So I do a lot of YouTube videos myself, Let's Play streams, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all a lot of fun. I enjoy that all massively. On top of that, in terms of like the acting work I've got, I've actually had to I've unfortunately had to turn down a shift today to be here. So that is my dedication right there coming through. But what else is there to cover? I think I've done a little
which
bit
we
of
appreciate,
DJing.
by the way.
Oh,
we really do appreciate.
That's fine. There we are. I've also done a bit of DJing and just general entertainment as well. Kids parties in particular, which is quite a lot of fun to do. So yeah.
That's funny. That would make you our 3rd UK DJ. Well, I guess Shura wasn't technically a DJ.
I don't know if playing like Gangnam Style and Baby Shark really constitutes DJ, but I mean, that's most of what I did.
I mean, I consider it. I consider it.
Then.
So, I know you kind of told us a little bit about yourself, but I want you to give us one more fun fact to put you on the spot, just because I did for Tim.
Okay. I will throw out the time where I concussed a friend during a performance. So, I was doing a production of Romeo and Juliet. This is back in 2012, back in my uni days. So this was still, part of my course. And we were doing a big Romeo and Juliet event to tie in with the London Olympics. I was playing Tybalt and my friend was playing Romeo. And there's a scene where instead of swords, we had these like wooden bow staffs that we were using for our fight scenes. And it was really cool. Like you had the crowd like stomping and doing like timed claps and music in time with our stick clashes. That was fantastic. Final performance. And the performance where Romeo's father had come to see the show, I had to do this overhead swing, which he does a 2-handed block. And it makes this nice loud crack right at the crescendo of the scene. And I just swung really hard. And I went right through his bow staff and directly into his forehead. And consummate professional that he was and still is, he just took the blow. You could see he was a bit out of it. He now had 2 sticks in his hand and not just the one. And then he twirled them in his hands and did a combat pose with them. as if to imply
Perfect.
that this was intentional. So
There's no other way to do it. So there was no retaliation on that. You didn't get a shot to the kneecap later, or
honestly, I would have deserved one, but he was again so professional about it, and when the show was over, I had to go up to his dad and apologize. I'm so sorry for nearly knocking your son out. That was
I don't know. I think you got to blame the props guy on that one. gotta get better props.
To account for these bad boys.
That's true. That's true. And then let's move over to Anna. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Anna post.
Nope, Anna.
It's okay. I'll respond to anything. Sunday, Monday, Anna. So I'm also an actor, and I don't really have any classical training in acting. Most of my training has been in physical theatre and creature performance. I did a lot of immersive horror theatre from my teenage years onwards. So being a monster is pretty much the only thing that I'm actually qualified to do. And alongside acting, I've also been a teacher. I've been a rock climbing instructor.
I was peeping the I forget what the website was called now, but you had it listed on your socials, and I saw that you've actually done quite a bit of work in a bunch of different roles, but just all within the last probably, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years now. Are you kind of just trying to start breaking through, or?
Well, I sort of started in film work in 2018 kind of time. And then it sort of picked up a little bit in 2019, and then the pandemic hit, which actually wasn't too bad. Wasn't as bad as you would think a global pandemic would be on one's acting career. So I was very grateful for that. But yeah, I've done theatre since I was a teenager, but I've only done screen work since my early 20s. So it's all the stuff that you can see is the screen stuff from then onwards.
Okay. You mentioned rock climbing. What have you ever had any close calls? What's the most terrifying experience that you've had rock climbing, or has it been kind of, not too crazy?
The scariest thing I can think of, I didn't actually realize was scary until a few days later. So I was a rock climbing instructor at a summer camp in your lovely country of America, and we got there before the kids got there by a few weeks, and we had to make sure that our outdoor adventure course, which was just loads of wires in trees, was all fixed up properly to then like hang a child from it in a few weeks' time. So up I go, and I was like fixing bolts into place and hanging things off of pulleys so the ropes could go down and things like that. And I was in these wires about, I don't know, 60 feet up in the trees for most of the day, because my team leader had told me that that's what I needed to do that day. After I'd done that, we then had a safety inspection to make sure that the wires themselves were safe, and they weren't safe, so I could have easily just died. I didn't, so it was okay.
The wires that you were trying to set up?
Wires that I was hooked onto, the permanent wires that went from tree to tree. I was sat on for half a day were not safe.
Well, you only need the safety wires when you need extra safety, so that's okay. It sounds like you did good. So
fine, nothing happened.
You're good. Exactly. So Josh, did you have a question for any of the three just before we start digging into the game and the studio? And
so I guess the one thing that I would ask, especially to David and Anna, is so like compared to your previous screen work, how is it doing Murderous Muses, which is an FMV video game with multiple kind of branching storylines, different storylines? Was it harder to kind of because generally speaking, when you're doing film work, you've got a script, there's a start, middle, end. Whereas this is a lot of different pieces that could be in different orders and things like that. So getting into the character and the narrative, was that more difficult? Was it more interesting? Like how does it compare?
Okay, well, If I have to be completely honest with you, I actually really, really prefer the way that it is done in this format. Because, like you say, things are usually beginning, middle, and end. But no matter what the production, almost anything is not done chronologically. You always tag it in any order, and usually for the most part, you've got to like get so many different people in, have them all organized, check their availability, make sure all that lines up, and then for the most part, usually a full day is just spent sitting down with one scene and just hammering it over and over to get every little part of it right. So very like not I won't say monotonous. I love my job, but it's very samey all the way through the day.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, because of the nature of it, with this being first person from Mordecai's perspective, it was a full day of just us and Mordecai, just 1-to-1, and it was just like get this scene and knocked out, and this scene knocked out, and it was fantastic just being able to power through it or stay in the zone, stay in character. That all felt great. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree. I usually when you're learning a script for something, you don't have, oh gosh, what was it, 40 pages of solid dialogue. So to sit with that for sort of the months that we had the script beforehand was actually probably the most preparation I've ever done for a character so far, which was amazing. And it was brilliant to have so much information about Sunday and Monday, and then to go in, and though it was sort of done in order in places, but it just felt more like we were living as them, like David just said. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Just to go off of that, Anna, you mentioned you played Sunday and Monday, two twin characters in the game. So what was it like, not only having to differentiate the two characters as you were performing, but also play off of yourself sometimes?
Well, Tim makes an excellent twin that's not there. He did all of the reading for me when the other twin was not present. And so that was the voice, but I was always aware of where I suppose Sunday or Monday's head was opposite me, so that I could like give her a look every now and then. The fear of God was put into me about not moving the sofa under any circumstances, because as soon as the sofa moved, it would ruin the whole thing. So I was sitting down very gingerly. But it was really nice. Like I don't know what David's experience was, but I came in and they had like a rack of costumes for me to choose from, and I got to pick what Sunday and Monday got to wear, which was amazing. Yeah, so and then in terms of, I suppose, differentiating the two characters, Monday is, although they're the same age, Monday's quite naive. She felt a bit younger to me in the script, so her voice is slightly younger feeling and sounding, and she sits differently. She hasn't got Sunday's confidence, and also she's always feeling a bit unwell, so that I think comes through in your physicality as well.
I have to say, like, just looking at all of the muses, I love all the muses. All the performances are fantastic, but I'm most impressed by yourself for being able to play two people, and Otto and Pip for the exact same reason. Like the fact that it's two distinct personas on show at any given time. I'm like, I only have to do one. Okay, I'm happy.
Was there at any point, Tim, a thought where you needed to have what? Well, I'm assuming he's not a real ventriloquist, right?
No.
Like the voice was done. Okay. Was there ever a thought of maybe having a real ventriloquist take that spot?
I mean, no, we just put out a casting call for it. So we got loads of people do their audition. Yeah. But the thing that I didn't realise, which I probably should have paid more attention of, but I'm not a very good director. But if I had, when we were filming it, Ricky did such a great job moving the puppet head in the same way as he did the voiceover afterwards, so that I could match it up. And you don't even think about that. Like you're watching it and you don't really see that. But the fact that we were using that kind of long shot where there was no puppet voice, where he was just doing the movements and then putting his VO in afterwards, the fact that he'd synced that up so well, it was it was really good. I mean, the same way that with Anna, I should have been paying more attention. When she was keeping the correct eye line to, for those over the shoulder, which would have looked ridiculous if she'd been like It was so for her to. I mean, I think you said you'd picked a part on the, in the scenery to look at or something to keep your eye line where you knew that your twin was, as it were. But again, without that kind of help.
So just when I was, oh, go ahead, Anna.
No, sorry, I was just going to say, I think that Ricky definitely had it harder, though, because I knew that if I was Sunday, that Monday was the same height as me, so I just had to, not look up or not look down, she was going to be right there. Whereas Ricky's job was far harder.
He did, and actually in his audition, he's probably hate me for, no, he won't hate me for sharing this, but in his audition, he missed a couple of the words from the script. And when we ask for audition, something like 1 or 2 lines, is it we asked for? I think it's like a line or two. So he did basically the best performance, but there was a question mark over whether he would be able to get all the lines properly, because we worked with people before, and one of the things is when you don't have everyone together for a table read or anything, then you get what you get in the audition. So you need to say that as a base level, the worst we're going to get is the audition. It's going to be the audition or better. So you can't expect something different from what you see in the audition. But he was bang on with all the words as well. And for his audition, I think he was using a toy bunny.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I think it still had the price tag on it. So I'm not sure if he got it for the audition.
Right, yeah, he went out and
they returned it. That's assuming he paid for it in the first place, right?
I don't know. But yeah.
I will say, when I was playing, I assumed, so, Anna, when you said that you would play off of Tim, during the shots where you needed another twin, I assumed, Tim, you or somebody else on set would be performing the auto lines, but hearing that he was just the pip lines, but hearing that it seems like he was just kind of imagining it as he was doing the mimicking, and then that ended up matching up so much better. That's a testament to Ricky's performance.
Yeah, I can't actually remember, but I think that must have been the case, because like I said, he was timing it. He timed the mouth movements for the puppet, which, yeah, I mean, that's a given, isn't it? Because the puppet's talking, right? But yeah, the fact that it all worked in. But I think there was probably one shot that I had to fudge it a bit out of 100 shots.
Yeah.
So I mean, just amazing.
Well, there's 6 hours of video in the game, right? Or is it 6 hours, or was it 3? I can't remember.
No, this one is just it's like 3 hours 20, 3 hours, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
It probably feels like that by the time you played it a couple of times. But yeah, it's
While we're on the topic of Otto, I just want to ask one thing: is it a reference or some kind of parallel to Otto and George, or is that all just a coincidence?
That's a coincidence.
That is crazy. There was a comedian in, I think, in New York in the US. His name was Otto, and he had a puppet named George. And I was like, oh, Otto and Pip. I wonder if that's a reference to Otto and George. But that's crazy. That's just a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Pipistrel is like a handle, I think, that Linda used for tarot. Well, I guess that's where we got that name from. And Otto just, I don't know, sounded like a ventriloquist, but apparently it was.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
Well, you had it right. David, let me ask you, because and please refresh my memory if I'm wrong. Xavier, he was kind of like a doctor, not a doctor,
surgeon.
But a surgeon,
yeah.
Right? Did you? I guess my question is, did you kind of take any liberties with the script or with the character at all, or did you kind of stick it straight with what Tim had done? Or,
I think I did play Xavier very straight and kind of the way you wanted him. I think the way I played him, for the most part, is very stern and very staccato, because his whole thing is perfection. The audition line you gave me was the one about everything needing to be perfect, and that is kind of the attitude I took towards the character, is where every line he says or everything he says, he does so very deliberately, and he's almost got like a running stream of consciousness of especially in police interviews, of I should not say anything that will come back to bite me later. So, yeah.
Right. I guess to piggyback off that, Tim, did you encourage, or I guess in this kind of medium, do you kind of need everyone to stick straight to the script, or do you kind of encourage it a little bit to stray?
Normally, I think because we filmed Dr. Decker first, it was very important that we stuck to the script, because the original release was keyword activated. So you need to type in a thing, and if they didn't say the thing, it wasn't going to work.
Sure. Yeah.
So we needed to keep the script, and I think that on the whole, we were less worried for this one, even though, I mean, there are some keywords, obviously, the plaques on the wall, but we don't. Sadly, no, we don't tend to encourage ad lib because we've got to do about 7,000 lines in a day. So it's kind of, it's pretty quick fire. There was a bit of ad lib in Palm Monroe, but I smashed that down pretty quickly because you just in Palm Monroe we had to because you had to do over the shoulders, and we got 3 different angles in Palm Monroe. It was much of all that kind of drama. So I remember Clemens, the first time he went off script, I was like, what? And it wasn't like demon director, but because that means that every time you shoot it from a different angle, you need to get exactly the same off script. So if you ad lib in a different way the next time, it doesn't help. You can't cut them together. So it probably would be easy to ad lib in these types of games because you're not cutting it from several angles and that kind of stuff. But normally, everyone, we're just kind of filled with terror that we can get through the material. Because as David said, you sit there the whole day and shoot about 3 lines and then go home wondering what you just did. Whereas we try and cover pages and pages, in a day.
Oh, yeah, I get. Dr. Decker, actually, I just saw you guys posted on, I think, Twitter. It was yesterday. It was their birthday for how many years ago? 7 or I forget.
6 years, yeah.
6 years, yeah. That's actually the next game on my list because my first game was actually Shapeshifting Detective per the recommendation from Josh when when I even first he brought it to my attention, which by the way I loved, and so I'm really looking forward to playing Dr. Decker too. But where was I going with that? I just totally lost my train of thought.
Ad-lib, shapeshift.
I was gonna ask you, what is the entire Deveki game library? Because part of our game of the month is we're going to be giving away a copy of Murderous Muses, maybe some other things, but also for this month only, I was going to let anyone choose any game in the entire Deveki library. I was kind of curious, how many games are there, number one, and could you just run through a list of them?
Yeah, I mean, there's 4. We've done 4 games. So the Infectious Madness of Dr. Deck is the first one.
Okay.
And then the Shapeshifting Detective is the second one. Dark Knight's Palmer is the third one, and Murderous Muses is the fourth one. Those first 3 kind of fit together in a way. We call them more of a trilogy because they self-reference each other. And it does not necessarily you have to play them in any particular order, but they all have references. I mean, even Muses has got some kind of fan service for the Easter eggs and
the books in the storage room.
Yeah,
I caught that right away.
But if you played Shapeshift, I mean, Shapeshift was the hardest one to write out of all of those because you could shift in so many people. But Deck is probably the hardest to play. I mean, some people probably say Muses is the hardest to play, but Deck is probably the hardest game to play on text only, on keyboard only. Sure. If you're not kind of I don't want to spoil the game for you, but just if you ask questions that. I remember we got a negative review because there was no response to age, sex, location. It wasn't really this thing that we'd plugged into it because it wasn't meant to be a dating simulator. So, you're supposed to be their therapist, but I guess it happens. Who knows?
Do people even use ASL anymore? Is that because obviously American Sign Language?
I mean, 6 years ago.
Actual, but I'm just saying, I you don't see that anymore. Maybe I'm just so far out of the game. I don't know. But anyways.
That actually, what you were saying leads me to a question that I've been wanting to ask, and that is, you mentioned that shapeshifting was the hardest to write for because of all the different kind of permutations. Yeah. So when you're planning these out, what does that process look like? Because I'm sure you come up with the idea, you come up with the characters, and then you have to plan out each individual kind of combination of things. So, I imagine. In a detective movie where there's pictures on the wall and string from each one to each one, just, because it sounds like such a maddening experience to try to map all of that out before you get into production.
It can be. We each pick different characters as well. I mainly wrote Xavier and Linda mainly wrote the twins. So we we decide on the murder first normally. So we try and get lots of facts and evidence in place about how the murder is going to happen, and that's how we write our box games as well, the traditional murder mystery games. So we have all that first, and then we work up like a kind of cast list or suspect list, who could kill them, and then we kind of go over what maybe their special thing is, or what their motives are basically, and then we head off and we kind of surprise each other with the stuff afterwards, which can be a curse and a blessing. Like, what do you mean they've done that? Let them do that. So we can then at the end as well. Sometimes at the end we'll put in more interleaving stuff that we didn't do because we not seen each other's characters, for example. So I can write stuff. I mean, it's funny because I wrote Xavier, like I said, I mainly wrote Xavier and Linda mainly wrote Sunday Monday, and they've got a storyline that intertwines, which more than some of the other characters, to do with the clock that he gives over. So you can kind of go around in circles. Shapeshift was worse because on top of that normal stuff where you just ask them questions and get the murder mystery out of it, you could then switch in somebody else, ask them different questions or the same questions again. I mean, it must be a great. It's got to be fun to play. Hopefully, from the front end, from the back end, it was absolute terror trying to put it all together. And you're obviously filming a load of stuff. The thing with interactive video games, anyway, the kind of interactive movie type games, is how much stuff ends up on the cutting room floor, because you'll get a lot of players who only play once, the one and done, and they never see kind of potentially even more than half the footage. So when we were designing Murderous Muses, one of the things we were kind of one of the original outlines for Murderous Muses would have had loads of content that you'd never see, that you'd literally have to play hundreds of times to see. So we did a bit of algebra, as sad as that sounds in the creative industry. We did a bit of algebra to work out kind of good permutation for amount of shots over this murder mystery and how much you could see each time. So it's not formulaic, but I mean, murder mystery is a murder mystery, right? When you read people saying, 95% of it's fluff, and you're like, yeah. And when you get to the end of any murder mystery film, you're going, I only needed to see the bit where she picked it up with her left hand, and that was it, right? So yeah, I get it. So it depends whether you want to enjoy the story along the way or not. But
right, I will say this: you've really made me realize that my skills in deduction could use some work. So with that being said, David and Anna, have you guys? I'm assuming you guys have played, because you guys did this the little series that you did on YouTube where they go through and play the game. But how many times have both of you guys played the game? And how many times have you guys, one, gotten killed by yourself, number two, gotten the murderer?
Anna, I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay. I've probably played it 6 or 7 times all the way through. And for the life of me, I want it to be Sunday, and it's never Sunday. I've watched so many Twitch streams, and it's never me, and I'm so upset about it. But
well, you got me twice, so.
Oh well, at least I know I'm in there somewhere. I knew I filmed that bit. I had to be in there somewhere.
What about you, Dave?
So what I done is I sat when the game came out, me and my friends had like a full night of just sitting down, just playing the game together. So I had all my mates sitting around, all having a good play of it. And then we realized, this is actually quite hard, and we have to think, maybe we shouldn't have chugged a couple of beers first. Oops. So we managed to actually get through to the end, and it was actually Otto and Pip who got us, and we didn't get them, so we got straight up got.
Yeah.
And lots of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I told myself, as much as I want to sit down and play through this more times, I will wait until the window opens for me to do an LP of this game. Like, I want to do not a full video series, just the one run through on my channel. I want to do just the one run through to give more people a taste of the game, to get more people to look into it. So yeah.
Okay.
Not to toot my own horn, but I have never got it wrong.
Oh wow. Well done.
But I feel like I had a slight advantage because I knew that from reading the script, I knew that in the police interviews, there was always going to be one guilty answer and one not guilty answer. So
okay,
once I put that together, it was quite. It's just.
I want to ask, just because I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum of you, Anna, um, which is kind of sad.
Can't win.
Is can and I, does the person have to be guilty for all three things for them to be that is what it is,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
You need to rule them out as opposed to rule them in, as
Okay.
it were. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what I'm
So-
doing wrong. I'm just assuming everybody's innocent.
They're all
Yeah,
dodgy.
so they are all dodgy. But
That's
yeah,
why
so
I'm not a
if
detective.
if Sunday knew where the key was and she'd been to the butterfly sanctuary, but she hadn't heard about the cult or something, then even though the first two are incriminating, she didn't know about the cult, so it wasn't her.
I have like the absolute confidence that every single one of these characters have killed people and are murderers.
Oh yeah.
They're all killers.
Mordecai specifically
They will
is
be.
what we're looking for.
So that was when I was playing through, especially the second time I played through the game. That was a point of, I don't want to say frustration, but as somebody, so when I was playing through the game, the first playthrough was me figuring it out, right? Because a lot of it's just for you to kind of, there's the notes, right? But a lot of it's for you to kind of figure out. Then the second playthrough, I'm like, I got this nailed down. I'm so right. And then I was wrong, and it hurt me deep inside.
Oh.
In a way that I didn't recover from for at least an hour. Actually, still to this day. So then I had the thought, like, man, it's not like, so obviously the killer's random if you choose random. And I'm sorry if you hear a cat.
That's adorable.
Great, I love it.
What? Anyways, we're gonna have a kitty. Anyways,
Yes.
Shows.
So-
Tail.
yes, you're interrupting. Come here. Yes, you can say hi.
Hey.
Yes.
Cat guessed it right both times.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
the
what
cat
else.
the cat always gets it right. I'm allergic to cats, by the way. So okay, buddy. There you go. So I was actually kind of triggered because I'm like, is this just like random every time? And there's no, but now it makes sense after after I talked to Josh about it, and now kind of listening to you guys again, I'm like, I'm just an idiot. So,
Goes
I
without
just
saying.
want well, if you've watched the show or listened to it before, it's par for the course. But I guess have you guys? I guess this is more for Tim, but have you gotten any of that critical feedback of people where they're like, "Well, what the hell am I doing?"
Well, yeah, I mean, we watched a lot of playthroughs, saw Anna in a lot of them as well. We watched a lot of playthroughs and saw how people were kind of navigating the things, because that's what something we do after release anyway. And then we try and, release a few patches if necessary. I mean, this time it hasn't really, Paramount Mobile wasn't really buggy either. This one's been quite good for actual bugs, things that don't work.
Sure.
So mainly we've been adding just a bit we always leave a gap so that we can fix those things, but if we don't have to fix those, we can add extra content. So we've been adding a bit of extra content, and kind of we have been putting in a few more hints and things in places. So I don't know what version of the game you played, if you played at 1.0 or 1.03 or where you're at. So
Okay.
we the problem with some of the feedback we've got, and it's been quite limited because Steam kind of did us over with their algorithm this time as well, is the truth. On the PC release, we ended up with kind of 95% less traffic on launch day than our last game.
Oof.
Yeah, which is about 1.15 million impressions. We're down. So
Right.
so we haven't got as much feedback as we'd like on the Steam platform, but we get feedback like the puzzles are too hard, and then we'll get another review saying the puzzles are too easy. And so in terms of trying to kind of fix that for both sets of players and the player base, it's almost impossible. So what we've just been trying to bring up a little bit, so we still want people to discover how it works, a lot of it, how it works themselves, but we've just been dropping in more and more less subtle hints for how to play the game. And 104 we're working on now. So the tutorial sequence, like we see videos and people are like, you can't skip the videos. And we're like, oh, we forgot that people don't look in the controls and the settings. What should we do about that? Maybe we, it's there, but exactly. It's not your fault, right? It's our fault. But so now we're putting a little message, to say that how you can skip a video, for instance, or people. We saw like these whole reviews, and there was no full screen video. And again, that's an option in settings, but also in controls, you can see you can switch between full screen and back. And we're thinking, people haven't even worked out how to do that. So, we're trying to add a few more messages in. Those ones don't really break the game in terms of, telling people that the order that the plaques revolve in is the same as beep, 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 would potentially break the game. It's something we'd like them to work out for themselves. But again, we've got reviews that say it's random. There's not even an order to the way the words. So it's been a bit of a tough release seeing these things. We obviously, the intentions of a video game developer isn't to annoy everyone. We want everyone to have fun with the games. So we're doing. I mean, I don't know if it's balancing or same with Deca. When Deca came out, you had to do keyboard input. Some people literally, and even friends of mine, could not play it, didn't get on with it, didn't want to play it until we added the drop-down question list that we needed to put in for console. So it wasn't going to go in for PC, but we added it for console, and then people could actually progress with the game more easily. And so there was like this other set of player base that kind of caught up then and could enjoy the game. So I think we're adding things obviously to make it so that people have as much fun as they can. And on top of that, I think the next kind of update we're working on, which I was testing this morning, we've sequenced a lot of those videos for you. So as the creators of the game, Linda and I, we wrote it all, we filmed it, we edited it, we know everything about it, we know the canon version, we know why this is the thing, why this little thing. You don't know any of that. So when we're testing it, we're like, "Ooh, is this going to come across enough? Are you going to put this and this together and work out this is, that this is a storyline or a thread?" So this bit that we're going to put in now has got like this memory palace. It gives you a full playback board, so you can play back everything you've seen. B, in the character lore rooms where you're getting audio, you're getting Higgins top quality audio. I've got to say, Higgins top quality character lore audio. You're going to be able to push a plaque and you're going to get all the videos in a row that activated that painting. So you're going to remember what the muses said to get that kind of bit of story. And then, this memory palace at the back of the urn room is going to have the full playback wall and also loads and loads of little buttons that you can click. And they thread together stories you haven't even seen. I was talking to my brother, he's played it a couple of times. And I said, I said, for instance, you've got like, you've got the story of Mr. Britain, and and he's like, what's that? So Lilith's Mr. Britain, and he's like, I don't even seen that, and so it's going to be quite cool. It'll show people again. There's extra things to play. I mean, partly we thought people would enjoy solving the murder mystery, going through, playing Sudoku, as it were, trying to unlock the police walls, and getting the FMV treats, which is how we've always seen like FMV video games. Like the FMV is the treat. So you put the video and you get, you click a button, you get video. So, but we are trying to kind of pull it together. So I definitely understand if you've been frustrated by the game. It's
I do want to say, I'm very much a skeptic first, but. So if I'm talking about anything, I'm going to complain first, but then I'm going to tell you what I like. And I hopefully you didn't take that as like a,
it's been said by other people.
But when I understood what I was doing, I very much enjoyed the game. So I do want to leave that out there. So like when I kind of my pea brain figured it out, I enjoyed it. So I do want you to kind of like, hey, like some people might be like me and it takes them a minute to figure out. But like when they figure it out, I think they're going to truly enjoy the game. And I think that's part of the joy in these games anyways. And I actually do appreciate that about a lot of games where they're not holding your hand. But you see it so much nowadays in most games where it's hand holding you to the end goal. And I think it's affected me to the point where I'm like, well, I'm scared. You're not holding my hand. You know.
Well, I,
So-
I want to step in and give the other side, lest any listeners or viewers get the wrong idea, because I come from a background of like Myst and point and click adventure games and stuff like that, where like puzzles and games I love, and I live for that aha moment. And I think the tutorial of Murderous Muses was like perfect for that, where you've got the thing on the wall that shows the list of the different phrases, and then you've got where you can put the picture. And when you first put it on and take it off, and the plaque flips over, and you look up and you're like, oh, okay, and you see the eye disappear, and like I think that tutorial was perfect. I stepped out into the game knowing exactly how this was going to work, and then I got to discover and get into the story. So I had like a completely opposite experiences posted, but that's just because we come from different backgrounds on video games, where I'm more acclimated to that kind of thing because I do love that kind of adventure game style, and like I said, that aha moment and figuring out the mechanics. And I love Muses. I got the Murderer first time, and I talked to Post. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no complaints. Love this game. Had a fantastic time with it. And even I was talking to Post as I was playing it for the first time. I'm very neurotic in things like this, and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to see everything in order. So I tried writing an algorithm that would figure out the order of where to put the pictures.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't get it fast enough, so I was like, all right, whatever, I'm gonna stop. But I got pretty close. Close.
Yeah, he's gonna
good,
send
though.
it to you, and you're
That is
gonna
like-
you're gonna make it work.
Yeah, fix my code.
That's good. That's that's the yin and yang of what we've seen, and really, it's kind of giving players who want the thrill of discovery the chance to discover stuff, and giving players who hate us the ability, no, not hate us, who are like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do next? Giving them more hints up front. So I think we can give those extra hints without spoiling it, and hopefully get more people to enjoy the game. For Dr. Decker, again, when that was released, like I said, some people just couldn't go on with it at all. So if if anyone's got the game and they're like, oh, it's a bit hard for me, I'm not, you did Perma last time, I could just sit and watch it, did nothing. If you want to enjoy the story, hopefully, have a look after if you've not seen it since 103 or 104, come back and have another go, because it is all there, and those stories we're lining up for people as well, so that you can watch them. Some of these sequences are 3 minutes long that we've put into this new room, so that you don't have to frustrate yourself trying to click all the bits again and saying which bit was that where Sunday said about the clock and all this stuff. So you can.
You said that's a room that you're going to be creating into the game right now. Like it's
We're adding
not.
a new room.
It's not. It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's a new room coming. It should be in the. I reckon it's going to be on Steam probably in the next maybe couple of weeks.
Okay.
And there's this whole new room at the back of the urn room that opens up, which almost certainly nobody's going to find until they've unlocked all the urns. But it's going to open from the second run. Obviously, if you're following us on social media, you'll be able to see it and get in. But you can go into the back of this room and you'll get access to all this new stuff, including there's like a circular wall of TVs, like a central partition of TVs with all of the framing devices we've used in the game, because there's 9 framing devices in total when you play. So you get the whole murder as well, the whole kind of what happened to Mordecai, the whole 9 sequences there. So
nice.
We're just trying to get make it more accessible in different ways and get people to enjoy the content how they want to enjoy it. Like for me, playing Dr. Decker, if you type and you get the responses, it feels a bit like flying, or it did. Nowadays, you just Chat GPT is like 10,000 times better. So we're in a we don't really know if we can compete with that. But back then it was it's quite fun. It's like you really were flying. And they said I like bananas, and you type banana, and they say yes, bananas, they're yellow things. And that's how the conversation was going. But like, yeah, I'm really winning with this. And I still think that's the best way to play the game. But I know that for some people and friends of mine that they needed to use the drop down list to kind of get them into it, so they could access more of the questions and see what was going on.
Sure.
So.
You're adding this new room.
Yep.
Which I want to touch on. This is your first foray into kind of a 3D environment where the player can actually run around, interact with the game. I'm kind of curious, what made you want to incorporate that? Is it just to kind of appeal to maybe a little bit different audience, or is it just something you've been wanting to do for a while?
essentially, Muse's idea came up a few years ago, and it was based on a kind of how could we do Deca but not have people typing things, because we know that was a frustration point. So, not that Muses has fixed that by all accounts, but so we thought instead you could have, if you had the keywords on the wall, which is what Muses is essentially, plaques that you could ask patients questions in Deca, and you hang them on these keywords, so that would alleviate that questioning pain and also give you a fun 3D environment to kind of spin around it. And in terms of FMV games today, there isn't a massive amount of player agency when you look at interactive movie style FMVs, where you get maybe just a binary choice, two or three choices, and then it plays the next video for you. So this 3D gallery effectively gave massive player agency. You could literally, and we have seen it many times, unsocket all your eyeballs, go, this is not something I could do, and then scream at us because you shouldn't have done that, really, because you needed to watch the videos. So it's it gave all this player agency. We weren't sure we could do it, and Unity gave us like this feeling that we could do it. We didn't mind the graphics were kind of, I want to say, seventh guesty, kind of retro, especially with the voiceover that we got and everything. We weren't really, like I said to the, said before we started recording to Anne and David, we weren't going for Detroit Becoming Human. We weren't really looking for that in our graphics. We knew we weren't going to get there. I remember saying to Sam at the time, we want Roblox Plus. If you can do better than Roblox, it's Roblox Plus. We didn't work with that.
Tim, have you ever played Roblox? Do you spend some time in the Roblox?
I played a little bit with Rachel when she was younger, because she was saying they've got like these like business type games. Can't remember what.
The tycoon type.
The tycoon type games.
That's
like run your own pizza or cafe bar. So we had a little go on that, and we played a lot as a family on Minecraft, like hundreds of hours on Minecraft.
Okay, that's another one. What about for David and Anna? Just because I feel bad. A lot of these questions have been for Tim.
I'll go.
But
use the game dev like
no. We need to include you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm curious.
Sorry, I'll tell you, overcut you there. But Anna's done a lot of playthroughs as well, so she probably answer these questions better than me.
Scientifically.
And David's going to do his long play as well. David's as well the only person that said after we'd done filming, he said, I can come back and redo them if you need me to. David, that's just you. You're the only person that said that.
Oh.
What are you trying to say, mate? It was fine. You wanted to do your best. You were worried. It was good. I remember you saying that you played the lines back in. That's how you learned some of the lines, wasn't it, as well?
I am terrible at remembering lines unless I am rehearsing for stage shows. Obviously, you can't really do that with a filmed shoot, especially when it's all monologues or one-sided dialogue. So what I did is I recorded all of Mordecai's lines into one big audio file, and then I just had that on loop in my ear for about a week. I just had his dialogue burned into my head. So yeah.
That's something else that I thought was amazing. I don't know if you used it, David, but the auto cue thing, like, was that something that you used? Because I thought that was amazing.
It was very impressive. Yeah, no, I did. When I realized, I have that as well. Okay, thank goodness. I cannot spend the whole day just looking like I'm trying to remember every line. I can focus now. So yeah.
Oh, if it makes you feel better, I'd be the same way. So, so I would, I did want to ask you guys, just because before the show we kind of touched on it. What are your favorite games to play? Like, obviously, you guys were actors in the game. And David, we can start with you. What kind of games do you play? I know you said you play like the Sonic and kind of like maybe more retro games, but I'm curious. What are you playing?
I play all sorts of stuff. If I had to throw out the games that I've spent the most time in, those would most likely be Super Smash Brothers, which I've done like a full series on YouTube where I went through the single player and I discussed every single spirit in that game and what they all represented and what games they were all from. So I had to do a lot of video game research to make that work. So Smash Bros. I've poured loads of time into. I'm way too good to play against average players. I'm not nearly good enough to play competitively, so I'm in that horrible
it's
middle
the-
ground where I
yeah.
can't play anyone at the game. So
That's the
yeah.
worst. That's the worst.
The other one is the game. I haven't played the second one yet, but Darkest Dungeon I play quite a lot as well. Because apparently I'm a huge masochist. So that game is like brutally hard, and it is designed to frustrate you and make you angry. But when a game like beats me, I get angry and stubborn, and then I get more. I want to beat it more. So I've
Oh, you don't just throw it against the wall?
No,
Like, that's...
I might do that, but I'll come back to it later. And then what I've done is I've told myself I'm going to beat that game on its hardest difficulty before I die.
Mhm.
The hardest difficulty of that game is all enemies are stronger, it's easier to die, and if you have X amount of deaths, considering that permadeath is a thing in the game, if you have X amount of deaths total, your entire save file gets deleted. So you have to start from the beginning.
What is this called?
It is
Sorry, we're not. No, that's okay. We're talking Darkest Dungeon. Okay, interesting. Okay. What about Anna? What about you?
So my most nostalgic kind of favorite game that I played when I was younger was Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess on the Wii. I was completely in love with that game. Still get my Wii out every now and then and play it now.
Whoa.
And I really loved the new Tomb Raider games because they came out sort of one by one as I was a teenager, so that was really good. I love Little Nightmares. I played that on Switch. There's sort of like a very cutesy garden kind of simulator, but it's called Viva Pinata, and you have to attract pinatas into your garden. It's so good. Oh my god, Viva Pinata! Every now and then I remember that Viva Pinata exists, and I go and play it for like days. It's great. Yeah, those are probably my favorites.
Pulling out the Xbox now, I think.
Right.
Oh no.
I think we're all going to be playing Viva Pinata now.
I like referencing that. We're representing other British devs as well. Hell yeah.
Was Viva Pinata
It was Rare. Yeah.
Rare, yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And Fable. I loved Fable.
Oh man. I like you guys. I like you guys a lot. So what about Tim? You obviously you make games. What
Sometimes.
Yeah, I know you said sometimes. Yeah, well, you've made a handful if you have more than 5 fingers on your hand. But you said Roblox, Minecraft. What else? Come on, I know you.
Yeah, no, I play too much Rocket League. I play too much Rocket League for sure.
Too much?
I'm almost at championship, which is probably not good for a lot of people, but for me it shows the old man's put too much time into that. I sunk over 100 hours, more than that, into Skyrim. That was fun. I played Skyrim for a long time. Skyrim, it's nostalgic for me at Skyrim. And we've been playing forever. So we played World of Warcraft when it wasn't classic mode, when it actually was World of Warcraft. So we started there. We also played things like Star Wars KOTOR, Star Wars Online was the first MMO Star Wars game. It came in. We had to buy it from the US. We got it imported in like a collector's box, but it was really cool actually. And then they opened it up to everybody, and it was bad. But
I thought that was the Old Republic. Was it back in like 2011?
No.
Before that?
2000. How long we been here? 12 years. It could have been around then. It was definitely the first one though.
Okay.
I remember hanging out in the cantina and people dancing and stuff. It was
Star Wars Galaxies.
Galaxies.
There we go.
That's it. Well done. Yeah. That. But I mean, we played pretty much all the MMOs because I enjoyed those. So Warhammer, everything. We played pretty much all those. Lotro, all those. But yeah, mainly. I also play strategy. I like things like Slay the Spire. I played the same game David mentioned. Played that on PlayStation actually. Just kind of weird. The controller scheme is harder to play. We also played. We recently, all three of us here play Across the Obelisk. 70 hours into that.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like another kind of deck building roguelike game. So
Ah,
yeah,
Josh's favorite style of game.
Yeah.
really?
No,
No,
I avoid those.
no.
I avoid those at all costs.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I had old Mega Drive, played
Kid-
Echo the Dolphin.
What
You know,
did you? Am I the?
Sonic.
Have you guys ever played RuneScape?
Yeah,
Oh no. Yes.
yeah. Not for very long, but
Teenage years, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember being in middle school playing that and leveling up characters and getting money for it. It was fun. Anyways,
and RuneQuest I've played. Yeah, RuneQuest, all the role playing games.
that's I don't even know what that one is. But
RuneQuest.
Ring Quest?
No, RuneQuest.
Oh, RuneQuest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess it was like a D&D alternative, or at the same time as like MERP, Middle Earth
Oh,
role
geez.
playing, and
Look at this.
Warhammer. Yeah, RuneQuest. I think it got reprinted in the 2010s probably,
Okay.
but Call of Cthulhu was a favorite. Chill. That's the old Call of Cthulhu. Oh my god, I'm too old. We played a lot of stuff. I should be more grown up. I'm not.
You know you've got some years on you when you're talking about games that look like they're box games. that
But
you
sorry,
play
they
a lot
they
of-
were role playing games. I
Yeah,
was talking about.
I was gonna say that I was
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
it up. I'm like, this looks like it's a like D&D, like basically D&D.
Mhm.
All these influences come together though when you make video games. You know, you get a lot of people say that they've made a video game but they don't play them. You're like, how?
Right.
I mean, it's possible, but it's it's going to potentially not have much love. I mean, they might be awesome and well marketed, but
Right. Okay. I do want to transition just very quickly. Every month Bucket Bytes does a game of the month, and I've mentioned this before. Murderous Muses is Bucket Bytes' May game of the month.
Hey.
So if you didn't know, and if you're watching us live right now, you can do !GOTM game of the month in chat. There's gonna be a link that you can enter a giveaway. You'll get a copy of the game, a Bucket Bytes t-shirt, or next month's game, or there's a lot of ors. You can it's pretty much a suite of options that you can choose from. So there's a gleam.io link that you can choose to enter from. And we're really excited to give away a copy of Murderous Muses because it's one of the prerequisites is that it's got to be a game that we know is number one good and people will enjoy. So, this we've said, I know I gave my critical feedback, but this game is, once you're comfortable with and understanding what you're doing, it is really good. Hey guys, so I forgot to give the second secret code for our game of the month. That code is going to be PIP, P-I-P, PIP, and you'll enter that in the second secret code section on the gleam.io giveaway page, which you can access at bucketbytes.gg or linktr.ee/bucketbytes. All right, let's get back to the show. Just while we're also kind of mid-roll here, make sure you guys check out Dark Fusion Systems. They are our newest partner, and you can get $50 off of a custom mini ITX built PC. So, oh yeah,
Nice.
it's a good time. It's a good time. So they're actually, and there's going to be news on that front in the coming weeks as well. So, thanks for putting up with that for a minute, and also this broadcast is sponsored by Nuclear Coffee, which is my coffee company. Today I wanted to introduce a brand new bit to the show. And it's funny because I didn't plan this by any means, but currently there is a writer's strike going on. And this bit is called Script Bytes. And basically how it goes is it's an AI generated script where we're all going to act it out for you. And just have a good old time. So, oh yeah, you're in on it. So we're good. So basically how this is going to work is there's 5 characters. We got 5 people here. So we're covered there. The title of this is called Cupcakes and Clues, as generated by ChatGPT.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's really extensively looked at this. and that's kind of the point. So it's going to be kind of just like a table read. Tim, do you want to read kind of the setting and scene breakdowns, or do you want me to read those?
I mean, I'd have to break character. So if you can do that, I need to. I need to.
Okay.
What would Chat GPT want me to be? I'm trying. What AI actor would I be? Okay.
All right.
Got it.
Okay. So, I guess we'll get things started. Are you guys already have the script up? Do you have any questions on how this is going to operate?
I think the best way to learn is to just jump straight in.
Just jump straight in,
Yeah.
feet first, just in the deep end. All right. Have any show of hands? Has anyone actually read the script really, like in depth? Like, do you understand what's going on?
I have skimmed it and prepared a prop, so we are good.
Does anyone
A
understand?
prop.
Yep.
I was just
Got a
thinking about
prop.
what ridiculous accent I could do. That I haven't even looked at it.
Oh, you just reminded me, Anna.
Do the deep
I was
voice.
reading through your page, and it says that you are well versed, or I forget what the actual phrase was, but you can do an American Southern accent.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah, okay, there it is. All right,
How
You-
southern do you want me to go?
that's actually pretty good.
It's pretty
Oh,
good.
I wish
That's-
I could do that.
You want me to do that the whole time? Do you want me to do it like I live in a caravan, or do you want me to do it like a Southern belle?
Oh, I'll let you choose that. I'll let you choose that.
Choose.
Yeah, it's up to
Okay,
you.
I'll choose.
You don't have to do it in the Southern. You can go Brooklyn if you want. Can you do a Brooklyn accent, like a New York?
Well, my Brooklyn accent gets a bit mixed up with like a Boston kind of sound sometimes.
All right, yeah, you
so-
kind of. That's all right. I totally get it. I understand. All right. So
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you got it. All right. You can choose whichever accent you want. I saw the list of all of the accents that you do, and I'm like, I'm making you do an accent.
Where
Because
did you find this list?
it's on your there's a hold on, it's on your Twitter actually.
Oh, okay.
It's
My bad.
it's the link to your I guess like your business profile for your
I
your
see. It was
agency.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so
you did your homework. Well done.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
do I remember the homework that I did? Only bits and pieces. That's life with ADD for you. But anyways, if you guys are ready, we'll get things started here.
Okay.
All right, setting. The break room of the Cupcake Factory. There are trays of oh, let me back up. You guys all know your characters and we're all good?
Yep.
Okay. The break room of the Cupcake Factory. There are trays of freshly baked cupcakes on the table, creating a sweet and inviting atmosphere. The mood is tense as the four characters gather, trying to solve the mystery of their boss's murder. Scene. The break room. Mike, Sarah, Tom, and Dave are seated around a table, looking worried and discussing the situation. I can't believe this happened. How could our boss be killed by a cupcake? We need to figure out who did it and fast.
Let's remain calm and examine the evidence. Mike, where were you when the incident occurred?
I was in the packaging department working on the cupcake boxes. I never left my station.
Sarah, I was in the break room too, grabbing a cup of coffee. I swear I had nothing to do with it.
Well, I've been saying for months that our boss had it coming. But this time, I had nothing to do with it. I was delivering a batch of cupcakes to the retail store.
Mike, Tom, I believe you both, but we need more information. Dave, your comment is unsettling. Why would you think our boss deserved this?
Look, it's not like I planned anything. He treated us like dirt, always making us work overtime without proper compensation. But I didn't murder him, I swear.
Sarah, have you found any clues that could point us in the right direction?
Well, the cupcake that hit our boss was covered in pink frosting, right?
Wait, I remember seeing a pink cupcake earlier. I saw Bobby, the new hire, carrying it. He was acting strange, like he was planning something.
Bobby? I noticed she'd been spending a lot of time in the boss's office lately. Maybe she had a motive.
Alright, let's find Bobby and talk to her. We need to get to the bottom of this.
Scene. The Cupcake Factory floor. The characters search for Bobby. Bobby! We need to talk to you about what happened to our boss.
What do you mean? I didn't do anything.
We saw you with the pink cupcake. Did you throw it?
Yes, I threw it, but I didn't mean to hit him. It was supposed to be a harmless prank.
Bobby, what's the truth? Do you have any personal issues with our boss?
I was going to quit today. I had an argument with him yesterday, but I didn't want to hurt him.
Oh, Bobby, it's okay. Accidents happen. We understand it wasn't intentional. We just need to know the truth.
Scene. The break room. The characters gather once again. So, it was just an unfortunate accident after all. Bobby didn't mean to hurt our boss.
We jumped to conclusions without having all the facts. I'm sorry, Bobby.
I should never have thrown that cupcake. I can't believe it led to such a tragic outcome.
This incident has made us realize the importance of communication and understanding in our workplace. We shouldn't let our frustrations escalate to such extremes.
Let's honor our boss's memory by working together, building a healthier work environment, and ensuring something like this never happens again.
They all nod in agreement, acknowledging their shared responsibility. Mike's stomach rumbles with hunger. He notices a cupcake on the table that looks particularly tasty. Hey, Bobby, could you toss me one of those cupcakes over there? I'm starving.
Sure. Catch.
Wait!
Hey, no!
Oh!
Bobby playfully tosses the cupcake towards Mike, but something bizarre happens. Cake, it's levitating. The cupcake defies gravity, hovering mid-air.
What on earth?
Mike, catch it! Let's see if you could grab a levitating cupcake.
Mike reaches out to catch the cupcake, but as soon as he touches it, an unexpected explosion occurs. Everyone is thrown back by the force of the explosion, but when the smoke clears, they find Mike transformed into a gigantic cupcake.
What just happened?
Oh no, I didn't mean for that to happen. I'm so sorry, Mike.
Mike, you're a cupcake?
Okay, this is way beyond unrealistic. We need to revise this script somehow.
We have to find a way to turn Mike back to normal. Bobby, do you have any idea how this happened?
I have no clue. I thought it would be a harmless prank. I didn't expect it to go so terribly wrong.
There must be an antidote or a reversal spell somewhere. We need to find it before it's too late.
It seems like we're at a dead end with turning Mike back into a human. Not to mention, I like him better this way.
Oh, poor Mike, stuck as a cupcake. But maybe, just for today, we can embrace the unexpected and just make the best of it.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. We've been through a lot, and we could all use a break. How about we go on a picnic with Cupcake Mike?
A picnic with a cupcake? That's definitely an unusual twist.
Why not? It'll be a memorable experience, and who knows, maybe we'll stumble upon something that could help us reverse the cupcake transformation along the way.
The characters gather a checkered blanket, a basket filled with delicious treats, and Cupcake Mike.
Here you go, Mike. Welcome to our cupcake-themed picnic.
Don't worry, Mike. We promise we won't eat you. You're an honorary member of this picnic.
Let's enjoy the sunshine, good company, and some scrumptious cupcakes.
The characters chat and laugh, indulging in their picnic feast.
It's moments like these that remind us to appreciate the unexpected detours in life.
Well, absolutely. And who knows? Maybe the solution to turning Mike back lies in embracing the journey rather than obsessing over the destination.
You know what? Sometimes the most magical moments come from the unexpected twists and turns.
Ooh. The characters continue their picnic, savoring each bite and sharing stories.
You know what, Mike? You may be in cupcake form, but you still bring us joy and laughter.
Cupcake Mike, the honorary member of our Cupcake Factory family.
To the quirks and surprises of life and our friendship that remains strong no matter what the circumstances.
They raise their cupcakes and clink them together, enjoying the simple pleasure of the moment.
But Mike does make for a tasty looking cupcake.
Mike quivers like a cupcake would if a cupcake could feel fear as the screen fades and credits roll. There we go.
Well done,
Good
everyone.
job.
Why
great.
we need human writers.
Support the striking writers.
Everyone
Support your
strike.
writers.
Please,
Oh,
please.
man. So
It was a bit
that
creepy when it broke the fourth wall a couple times.
Yeah, right. Oh man, I had so much fun reading through that last night. So the way ChatGPT works is that you have to kind of prompt it and give it kind of a direction to go, and quite literally it was just 5 people working at a cupcake factory and someone dies, and that's where it started. So something I really want to do with this bit in the future is if you ever have any suggestions on prompts for us to act out in the future. Now, granted, we can't have this wonderful crew of professional actors with us every episode, but feel free to send in those suggestions because I think we could have a lot of fun with this in the future. So.
You did send us this very recently, so I didn't have time to get an actual cupcake. Hence why this onion was playing the cupcake.
Oh, that was an
You
onion.
ate an
I thought
onion.
that was.
I thought it was an apple.
So did
It's
I.
an onion.
I thought that was.
Commitment.
I thought it was a pear actually.
Commitment to the bit.
Mm.
Wow. So not only have you turned down 300 pounds, but you also ate a raw onion
Yep.
just for bucket bites. Woo!
There we go. True
That's
dedication.
awesome. That's awesome. So while we kind of come down from the high of that, that was actually super fun. That was ridiculous, but might be a bestseller someday. Probably not.
I'm sure in post you can edit out the multiple pauses that happened because of Discord lag. Where we were just staring at each other.
I was trying so hard to hold it together too. This is why I'm not a professional actor. But I hope you guys had fun with that because it was I did.
Pleasantly ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been asking you guys a lot of questions so far. And I am curious, just before we continue, if you had any questions for us. You don't have to, but it is something I'd like to give you guys the opportunity to do.
Ooh. Oh, I'm bad at thinking of questions, so Anna, I'll throw it to
Especially
you
on the
first.
spot.
Yeah.
Where are you guys based?
Well, we are in Wisconsin, here in the United States, in the Midwest. Both Josh and I. We do have a couple other hosts that are on with us. One of them's in not California. Where's Dom? I think I forget. He's
don't
in
even
New Hampshire.
remember.
I can't Vermont. Somewhere on the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, we say
And-
California because he says California terms a lot, so
Yeah.
we'll go with that.
Yes. And then another one of us is in Texas. So that is where we are located.
That's a very good question, Anna. To follow up on that, do you mind if I get your mother's maiden names, social security numbers, the numbers on the back of the card
Yes,
as well?
yes, absolutely. My mother's maiden name is. I didn't have
Wisconsin.
Her name is
Yeah,
Wisconsin, and her social security number is 2.
To the power of 5.
Yes, she's been around a while. I didn't
she's
say
very
that.
old.
Oh, 2. Oh,
I'm
I
just
didn't even
kidding.
think that.
I hope she does not see this. So, anyways, if we're good there, Josh, did you want to?
Sorry, I feel really bad now. That was a really bland question.
No, it was fine.
Well,
That's fine. What
I
about
will
you, Tim?
follow that
Oh,
up
go ahead.
with one question Post loves to ask, and I'll steal it from him. Whenever we talk to people across the pond, is do you have any conceptions about like Americans or like things that we do differently that sticks out?
Oh,
Well, I've spent quite a lot of time in America because of working there as a camp counselor for a few summers in a row, and then I did a lot of road tripping around America. So I feel like all my preconceptions were either confirmed or disconfirmed. Is that a word?
Who knows?
In the time that I was there. I'll leave this one to David.
Do you guys really put like peanut butter and raisins on celery, or is that just an elaborate joke?
Oh,
I
hell
see
yeah,
you
I do.
playing?
Hell yeah, I do.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's we don't do that.
See,
Why
I don't
not?
because I'm so American. I just leave out the celery.
There you go.
That I
That's
can
right.
like get behind. Is the
Fair
thing.
enough.
It's not that bad. You should try it sometime. You should do it right now.
No, I don't have peanut butter. I would have actually done that, but yeah.
How do you not have?
He's already
peanut
eaten an
butter?
onion. What's it?
Yeah, well, I'm just pushing to see how much more I can get out of him. You know.
What else
Food
can I eat
dares.
this day?
The new game, Food Dares.
Yeah. Okay. What about Tim? Do you have anything that we as Americans? Is there anything that we as Americans do that is weird that you find, or that you're not sure of, or?
If we're
I mean,
just talking about weird things that Americans do, I could give you a list of those.
I mean, there's some
Please
voting I
do.
might
I can tell
disagree
you how
with,
many
but
I do.
Yeah, it's the my brother actually moved out and married somebody in California, so I'm under oath not to say anything anyway. So and they're still married, even though they now live in Malta. So I didn't even get the opportunity to go and visit him in California. I was like,
That's all right.
it would have been
It's just
it would have been good,
California.
wouldn't it? Just for I
Depends
quite
on where
fancy
he's at.
visiting Seattle. When you said Wisconsin, I was like, I immediately went to that 70s show, which you must hate. It's
No,
a-
I absolutely love that show. Actually,
I've watched all of it. I love that show
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
great.
It was actually filmed in Wisconsin, was it?
No.
no,
No.
and Point Place isn't a real place either.
Right.
But it is roughly based on a location that's like 30 minutes away from us.
Will you be able to get Mila Kunis or Topher Grace on? Is that
I've been working on it.
It's like everyone in the UK knows the Queen. So if you're from Wisconsin, then you obviously know the cast. Yeah. So I said the Queen. Sorry, the King.
I was going to
king.
say, wait,
Yeah.
new maybe.
When's this going out?
That's great. Josh, is there anything you want to ask our guests about the UK and the weird things that they do? Like, what's the deal with Marmite? Or I don't know. Oh, there.
David's got Marmite. The Marmite challenge.
He's putting He's going to put Marmite on celery with raisins.
Look at his Darth Vader back there as well.
Yeah, that is actually pretty epic. That's the one where the arm moves up. My parents had one of those. I swear to God, it is.
We're about to get confirmation.
Oh, here we go.
Marmite is fine as long as you have like a tiny little bit of it and you spread it really thinly.
Okay.
Every time I've seen an American eating Marmite, it has always been a big spoonful, and that is not what you do. That is really, really wrong. Like when I'm talking like a little bit, I mean like this tiny little dab of it right here.
Well, see, we as Americans, we do everything a little too much.
Excessive, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, you take a tiny little bit and then you'd spread that really thinly, and you'd probably even mix it up with like a little bit of butter or something like that as well,
sure.
just to kind of
Cheese. Have it with cheese.
or cheese. Yeah, a little bit of cheese.
Seriously?
Cheese and Marmite sandwiches. Oh, classic.
Wow.
What? That's
If you
like a
want-
real thing?
Yeah, everyone has
really
cheese and Marmite sandwiches.
I've never had
Everyone does?
Marmite. I've never had
Tim,
Marmite.
can someone remove him from the chat, please?
Here, I'll ban him right now.
I'm not from the UK.
So I'm surprised actually because it looks like Marmite's made from beer brewing extract.
Oh, it's like
Yeast.
Oh, no.
and
Does
so
it
we
just
live.
doesn't it?
Post and I live in the beer and cheese capital of the world, and it's surprising that we've never had Marmite and cheese.
Yeah, that's. I've never had Marmite, much
Having a
less
little-
with
Me neither.
cheese.
I've never heard of it.
Very lightly spread Marmite on toast with like grilled cheese, like cheese like melted onto it is
Have it in
is
grilled cheese.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
I know what my weekend's gonna look like now.
And if you can, there's these I don't know if you even call them crisps or chips, but they're the little corn snacks called Twiglets that we have, and those are Marmite flavored. So if you can like import a bag of Twiglets and try those, that kind of gives you a strong Marmite experience. Yeah.
David, I don't think they're gonna like Twiglets.
Twiglets too much. I think that's like advanced. You have to like be used
No,
to the good.
no.
Yeah,
Very solid.
There's a
Yeah.
theme on this show today. Is you just go go in the
Can you
deep
find
end.
Twiglets?
Twiglets.
Are they
oh,
FDA
yeah.
approved?
Yeah, you can. I can buy them on Amazon.
I'd say try
So
the
much.
try the cheese Marmite like toast first, and then Twiglets is the deep
Yeah.
end. Yeah, Twiglets.
I think we're gonna have to have a follow up on Bucket Bites where we
Twiglet
go down the
challenge.
Marmite route.
It's a
Yeah.
whole lot. It says it's a whole lot of crunch. Whole grain munch is the tagline. Is that the right thing?
Sounds
Maybe?
too healthy, to be fair, but
They look like Cheetos, Josh.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
like Marmite Cheetos. Yeah.
But solid. Like if you mix some cement into your Cheeto mixture.
Mm.
I'm gonna
I
have
guess
You're
to
really
buy
selling
now.
these. Really selling these.
Wait, if you took a Cheeto and a Twiglet and then you had them together, would that not be a facsimile of the cheese and Marmite experience? or-
Yeah.
That's
I guess
actually a
so.
good point.
Mm.
That's gonna be the new TikTok trend over here in America.
Oh, yeah. That'll be like a cross-Atlantic kind of like collaboration between us.
Well, you don't even have to buy the Twiglets. You could just dip your Cheetos.
Dip your
in Marmite.
Cheetos in Marmite.
Oh wow, that's
Oh
a lot.
no, that's so bad.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Man, I guess Josh, did you have anything else for these guys?
I don't think so. I think we covered a good amount.
Okay, so I guess I want to end with this. Each one of you has things that you want to talk about. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm not asking.
open.
I basically what I'm saying is the floor is open to you. We'll go in order. We'll go David, Tim, and Anna. Just kind of like what are you guys working on now? What do you guys want to bring exposure to? And if you got YouTube channels or projects going on, please feel free to shout them out right now if you can. So we'll start with you, David.
Okay, yeah. So I've got my as well as my main acting YouTube channel, I do have a gaming channel as well, and I've got a show on there called Vidams, where what I do is I review television shows that are adaptations of video games. So that could
Okay.
be stuff like Pokemon Digimon. There's like a Kirby show that's got quite a lot of views. Viva Pinata had a show, and I actually did that one as well.
Yeah?
That was quite fun and got unsettlingly sexually charged at points for Viva Pinata TV show. And
What?
for those of you,
Did it really?
they really like getting like hit in the butt with like
Well, they're
batons.
pinatas.
But they're like specifically in the butt, and they like go on about how much they enjoy it. And there's like
Well, yeah.
a few that are just like, "Whoa, okay, that's yeah."
I'll just shrug my shoulders at that. That's okay.
It's innocent enough out without in context. Yeah, sure. So that's that show I've got going on. I am mainly trying to branch into voice acting at the moment, and I've done a few voice acting projects. There's a book series called Nightshade Academy, and I'm voicing a doctor in that. Director Ryan, who was in the chat throwing abuse at me earlier, I'm working on a character for him, and that is a dragon. So I'm looking forward to playing that. The voice I did for the script reading earlier is very like rough and ready.
Yeah.
Voice.
That's your dragon.
That's closer to the
Ish.
dragon's voice than my regular. Yeah.
World premiere.
Oh yeah, that was a little taste of blue. Maybe after a couple of years and a bit more grizzled. And what else is there? I think just in general, I'm on social media and all that, so
Yeah.
I'm sure if I throw some hyperlinks at you, you can let the world know. Anyway,
No, absolutely.
me.
Yeah. No, I've checked out your. I haven't seen you live on Twitch yet, but I did check out your YouTube.
Did you see
you
my
got-
most recent Smash Bros stream? Because if so, I apologize.
No, I did not. I know you're having some technical issues with something though.
I was, yeah. I found out that Snapchat, you can there's a program on the PC. You had to get a patched version of it, but it lets you put Snapchat filters on. So I set up my green screen and was doing a stream of Smash. But for whatever character I played, I would change my face accordingly.
Oh, that's
But
fun.
it's fun until you realize how deeply and disturbingly horrifying they all look. And then it's just like, oh god, what am I looking at? And yeah. There's
Okay.
a Sonic filter. I can't bring it up right now, but it's the stuff of nightmares. It looks like the Sonic from the film from before they fixed
Yeah.
it, but stretched over a person's face. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Does it look like, I'm sorry, does it look like the Sonic before they changed the design for the Sonic movie?
Yes. Yes.
What he
yes,
just said,
absolutely.
Post.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't hear. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
cheaper to
sorry.
license. Yeah.
I just got to give you grief, bud.
No. All
Supposed
right,
to be
Tim.
hosting the show. You're not even listening to it.
All right, Tim. What's going on?
Oh,
Besides
yeah.
Murderous Muses.
Yeah,
I'm just
Murderous
kidding.
Muses. No, I'm not. I've got nothing. I'm just going to say thanks for having us on, and for supporting us and making us the game of the month. And people should support you guys because you've obviously got good taste, right? I mean,
One of us, at least.
I was gonna say that, that's this guy here. He's the one that brought. But I will say this: they're good games, not just Murderous Muses. Like I said, shapeshifting. Can't wait to dig my claws into Dr. Decker next. I actually wanted to ask you because I have not played it yet, or even looked into it much yet. But the Poe and Monroe, the spinoff game, is that very, without me, is that very similar style game? Just kind of a narrative, FMV only, just kind of like, is it random and everything else like that too, like the other games, or is it kind of more of a straight shot?
It's not random. It's a branching TV series, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's 6 episodes you play, and you just, instead of having text, you click on little spinning bits of the screen.
Okay.
So it's more like a point and click. But yeah.
Okay.
It's super easy, if that's what you're asking.
No, that's not what I'm asking. But I appreciate the assumption. No. Because I will be buying them and supporting you guys because I like what you guys do, and I'm looking forward to. Actually, I had one more question before the end of the show, but we're gonna go to Anna next, so she can plug what she's got going on.
Sure, thank you. So keep an eye out on Amazon Prime. We've got a comedy series coming out later on in the year called Patterns, and I'm in a couple of episodes of that.
Okay.
I'm also in a crime feature that came out last year called 6 Years Gone, which you can watch for free on YouTube now. It's a really gritty crime thriller about a missing child, if you're into that kind of thing. And then later on in the year, we've got Guest 2 coming out. I don't know if any of you have seen the first Guest short film, but it's got nearly 10 million views on YouTube, which we're really grateful for. And I play Guest, the monster, in that anthology, which was a lot of makeup to sit through. So please watch it. And also, really quickly, a close friend of mine, a director called Andrew McGee, is currently crowdfunding for his next sci-fi short.
I watched that.
And I know that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I watched the first one, or it's like an anthology. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Please finish.
No, that's okay. So my friend Andrew McGee is crowdfunding for his next sci-fi short, which is called First Sight. His first short film is also a sci-fi called Venus, and it's beautiful. Like, go and watch it if you can. And if any of your listeners would like to back First Sight, you can find it on Kickstarter.
Absolutely. And if you can just send me that link, because we'll put it in the description too for all of this.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you.
it was Venus the one I saw. I watched the one video you posted it on Twitter where it starts with this girl in like a field, and it's like kind of like a is that one? That was actually a pretty good. That was a pretty good watch actually. So I do recommend. It's not a continuation of that. This is like a different.
No. It's completely separate. But I think it's really incredible what you can do with indie sci-fi, considering like he doesn't have a great deal of budget. Like, it's some beautiful work that he's already put out, and I really hope that he gets to make First Sight because I've read the script and it's fantastic.
Awesome. We'll be looking forward to that, and like I said, we'll post the link to that. But Tim, because I forgot to ask this earlier, and I would kick myself if I didn't. I have 3. Number 1, are you planning with your future games? Because I'm just going to assume that there's more future games coming. Do you plan on expanding upon the 3D game aspect?
I don't know. I don't think we'd do the 3D games again.
No, not again.
No, I don't think so. I think we've upset enough people.
Well, do you think Do you think that was? Well, I guess.
I mean, if we made Phantasmagoria 3, then I feel like it would need potentially to be something more than just full motion video the whole time.
Okay.
Just in honor of the first two, which are more like point and click, and But yeah, it's been a struggle to do, and it would be easier just to do an interactive style movie, but we never just do the easy thing.
Where's the fun in doing the easy thing?
You've got to break the barriers, push your limits, don't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. My second question was, all of your games, they are kind of more of an anthology, like they're kind of connected but not directly. Do you plan on ever having a continuation of some of these stories? Like, obviously, shape-shifting, it's depending on how it ends. If you are successful, like, there's potentially a lot more to that story afterwards, and I was really interested in I would kind of like to see a continuation of that if possible.
Yeah, I mean, Power Monroe is a prequel to Shapeshift, so it kind of takes their story forward there. But yeah. I mean, we've talked about, and we've got already outlines things like Decker 2, Shapeshifting Detective. We've already got a second one that Linda came up with. So we could do them. We're in what I like to call is a fallow period at the moment.
Well, yes.
But yeah, so I mean, it's not that I remember watching Buffy when I was a kid, when I was only like 52, and it was such a good series, and I got really upset when they kind of cancelled it. It didn't get cancelled, and Angel come up, and I thought, I was like, if we ever make something that people like and enjoy, I'm not going to cancel it. We just keep doing it. And now I think that some people probably would like to see Shapeshifting Detective 2, or
I was gonna say, you got two right. You got two right here. You do. Honest, hand to God, you do. So
yeah. So I mean, it'd be nice to revisit them. Yeah. I mean, we always do. We always like to do something different to get us out of bed again, because just kind of cookie cuttering a kind of just interactive maybe probably isn't something we'd be that interested in. Right. I wouldn't mind doing a feature film and potentially adding bits that might make it interactive, but I think that kind of breaks it sometimes in a way. I've seen a lot of people make kind of they make feature films and then they try and make them branching, and you try for the door and you're never going to get the door because they didn't shoot that bit. You're always going to so they don't necessarily work out. But it'd be good if enough people wanted to see those extended. Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know if you could. Oh, God. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'd love to be in them.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the current crop of actors have been really, really good. Really good. I mean, they're always really good, but there's always like one thing that we're like, oh, okay, so we did that wrong, or something might go wrong, or you might accidentally call Linda the director's wife, and that's an X for you, and so there's always something. But so we've had a totally lovely bunch this time. It'd be great to one of the things, we don't normally market stuff as much as we have with Muses. We're both, Linda and I are introvert by nature, and putting your stuff out and going, oh, stuff's great, is really unnatural for us to do. And one of the reasons that we've mentioned it a lot more than we normally would is for the actors. It is genuinely for the actors, because they've done such a good job, and we want more and more people to see their performance and kind of enjoy what they've done. It's not fair. Like, I guess anyone who makes a film or whatever, if only 2 people see it, all the effort that's gone in, so it's really, we try to promote it, not just financially. I mean, we've obviously got a programmer to support as well, which we never used to have. But yeah, it's been really, we've had a great bunch, and obviously, yes, you're welcome back if we're allowed to work ever again.
There are like 27 more Sundays, right? So
I don't know what version you played, but yeah, we've got a few more.
I will say one thing I love about your games is seeing those familiar faces pop up from game to game. And obviously I would love to see, Present Party show up again in future games. And
Yeah.
also like you said, it is I would say like I'm a fan of film, a fan of filmmaking and you know, things like that. And your games are truly like I want to say like they display the actors' unfiltered performances, you know, because generally they're acting towards you, the player, not towards other characters. So yeah, showing off and displaying those performances, you know, for the actors is so important, and I love that the games do that.
Yeah, no, it's good, and we'd use the same people over and over again, but it's always we like talent spotting as well. We like finding the like new good people who haven't necessarily been in these games before, and we still had like over 1,000 people apply for Murderous Muses. So it's kind of like Ashton's obviously has been in all the games. Ashton, to me, when I see her perform, she does feature. She's done feature films as well. But when she does her direct to camera, I'm buzzing. She's always got a really good connection. And I remember she said that when she came and filmed Decca, that because the place was already kind of moody because it was noir lighting and it was just a couple of dodgy geezers behind as me and Linda behind the camera, that she already felt kind of claustrophobic and really helped her get into that kind of character before she performed it. So yeah, it's it'd be good, like I say, it'd be good to get everyone back again, and we would definitely do more recalls than normal probably. But yeah, we end up casting a lot of the time because it's harder, isn't it? It's harder. You just hire your friends all over and over again and be easier. But for us, we're like, oh, do you know what would make this a bit harder? Let's put out a casting call with all that. Get actors to worry whether we're legit or not. You know, all this stuff, and you got all that going on. So yeah.
So you
Why
like
make it easy?
you like to hold the power, right? Yeah. Make them sweat a little. Yeah.
No. It just, I mean, you know, I don't know about Anne and David, but again, you know, we've been going for a long, long time, and literally anyone can just do a search at company's house and see how legit a company is. Yeah, if you like nowadays, the information online, you can see what our last posted accounts were. You see our, you know, all this stuff.
Sure,
but it's still, you know, obviously actors need to put themselves out, but also stranger danger. You don't want to end up bleeding out on a casting couch, do you? So there's like you kind of like there's always you have to kind of prove yourself that you're not just going to bump them off when they get here properly.
That's a good point.
For reals. No, but you know, and people, and again from the 90s, you get stigma about F&V acting. You used to, you know, it would be stigmatized that it wasn't particularly great. And nowadays, like we've had this little resurgence, I guess. And you've got a lot of good kind of producers in there, and they're all trying different things. But it means that probably some FMV fans expect a really cheesy kind of over the top performance, which we lent towards a little bit in Palm Monroe, and they're not really expecting serious performance. So it depends what kind of which side of bed you get out of, just, you know, what kind of FMV game you're expecting. So when you're trying to get actors, nobody's really gonna. I mean, I guess work is work, but it's like, do you want to come and be in our really cheesy FMV game? It's like the show that goes wrong, but it's not really as good. We're just gonna make it cheesy, right? Because and then you got to sit there and fidget for hours. I remember talking to Paul Phantasmagoria too, and he was saying that there's a skill to fidgeting while you wait for the player to do something. You couldn't make it look. He said he could run a class in it. You know that you can't make it look like they need to do something, but you just need to, you know, keep active on the screen. So
yeah, just looks like they're annoyed
life
that they're taking their time. Like, come on.
It's like real life idle animation, which is interesting. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Paul Morgan Settler, sorry, from Curtis in Phantasmagoria 2. Yeah, we had a little chat with him, but so there's a massive range of acting and actors that can come into F&V as well. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying any particular product is better than another. We you know, for me, because I like the film side of things, I prefer to try and fall on the less comedic, more serious kind of stuff.
Sure.
You know, but it might not come across like that. It depends.
Well, and I think you found a perfect. I think you found a perfect like mixture with Otto and Pip. Like it's such a kind of place for comedic relief. But then as the story goes on, it's not.
Yeah,
tragic.
So it's you can see those kind of influences there.
we've seen some people who absolutely hate Otto and Pip, and literally every time they're giving away a painting, it's like, right, he's going. And some people, he's their favourite. So it's also lovely getting all the different cast members playing all the different roles, because everyone gets their favourite. Or so
Right.
it's cool.
All right. One last question before we close the curtain on the show. Is there anything in any of your last few games? Like, obviously there's a lot of things that you probably, thinking back on, you're like, oh, I would do this differently, do that differently. But if you could go back and just change one thing about any of your games thus far, what would it be?
Oh, good question.
I would remove the traffic light system from Dr. Decker.
So
which means nothing to you at the moment.
Okay.
But essentially, we had about 100 people beta test Decker before it came out, and we had all sorts of feedback forms and stuff. And one of the things was trying to give players an idea of progress in the game. So you have a traffic light system next to a patient, which is either green, amber, or red. And essentially, red means you can't progress to the next day, and amber means you can, and green means you found everything. And I think that I would probably change amber to green and not let you know that you didn't find the other responses, because a lot of people tried to get all the responses and then got frustrated at some of the non sequiturs which we were putting in as Easter eggs. If you type Wibble Wobble, you got a video that wasn't really there, and they're like, "I'd never type Wibble Wobble." And you're like, "Yeah, I know, but it's like a cognitive leap, and then it's So a lot of people want to go green, and I think we actually updated the help video a few versions after it coming out, saying that if you want to go green, it may indeed send you mad, because it's quite hard to get to all the responses. But as FMV fan myself, you're also like, I want to see all the videos, so it's not. And if you play something like Zelda and you're maybe getting Korok is it? I can't.
Every Korok, every shrine, all of it.
Korok, right. Apparently, according to Rachel, because we played that for hundreds of hours as well, it doesn't tell you after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to a certain number of Koroks that you found, and then it doesn't tell you anymore. There's still probably hundreds of them out there, but it doesn't tell you. So it's kind of like Nintendo are leading the way on this, that you don't need to know how many there are, just that you've got enough of them, and then anything else is extra. So yeah, I think that's probably the. You were thinking it was something about Murderous Muses. We'll still change that. So retrospectively, we don't need to change that. Yeah. So, but yeah, for probably Dr. Decker. Yeah. So there is. Oh no, yeah, I won't say that. There's loads of bloopers in those games as well, like people wearing their dress inside out for half the shoot and stuff like this, which you'll have to find them. You'll have to find those bloopers yourself. We didn't really have many bloopers for this one at all. I mean, we do have some fluff lines and comedy, but in terms of massive bloopers, no, I think we got away with it.
I think that speaks to how great your actors were on this shoot, right?
They were. Do you know? Yeah. The perfect actor means that I don't have to turn up. Director's job is not turning up. If you've got good actors, you don't need to redo any many adjustments or anything. So it's just it was really good.
Good.
Well done.
Awesome. Good job, guys. You earned a spot on the next show without even knowing it. Or next game, I should say. Awesome. Well, Josh, unless you're good, we can close the curtain, bud.
I guess I just want to thank you all for coming on. I was such a huge fan of the game and the performances, and of course the writing and directing, Tim. I've been a fan for a while, so this was really cool just to chat. I was going to have my limited run copy of Shapeshifting Detective on display behind me, but after we talked about Shapeshifting Detective last week, my sister wanted to borrow it so she could play it. So she's currently got it. Which then she realized she didn't have a disk drive on her PlayStation, so it didn't matter.
PS5 though, so it's, yeah,
But then she
things around
bought
that.
it to play it, so I got you one extra copy there.
Oh, thank you.
Hey.
she
I will
did
go and
enjoy
check
it.
the stats. Excellent. Oh,
But thank you all so much. This has been a pleasure. Again, I just can't express how much I loved all of what you've done, and of course the actors, what I've seen, and the performances. It was fantastic. So thank you.
Well,
Thank you so much for having us.
it's been an
Yeah, thank
absolute
you.
joy. Thank you for having us, and cheers very much.
Sorry about Xavier.
Hold on,
Oh.
I gotta. Hold on, can I like focus? Yeah, here we go.
He's a surgeon.
Oh
you know.
yeah, look at that! Look at that! Oh man. Oh no! All
The
right.
dedication he's had to Bucket Bites is on.
Like
It's
I
gonna be
said,
unmatched for a while.
it's yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
Thank you.
for those of you guys watching us live, appreciate you for sticking around. And we'll catch you next time on Bucket Bites. Later. Bucket Bites is recorded in front of a live Twitch audience over at twitch.tv/bucketbites. You can also find us on our link tree, linktr.ee/bucketbites, where you can find all of our social medias and also some merchandise and the newly founded www.bucketbites.gg. It's where you can listen to all of our podcast episodes in your web browser. Stay tuned for a quick sneak peek at what's going to be given to our Patreon supporters for a little bit of extra content this week. We like to record before and after the episodes so you can just kind of see what goes on before the shows. Thank you for listening. I'm Papa. Goodbye.
Wonderful.
I appreciate you
Thank you.
Spit that out.
Yeah.
eating. Oh my gosh.
Go wash your mouth.
Let's go throw up now.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did that.
The worst part is it's not as bad as I expected it.
You're going back for more.
I'll go for more, but it wasn't like, it wasn't a reflexive rejection.